Hi everyone, today we are going to look how to check the internet connection status on your Tinder router. Alright, let's start by accessing the router interface. First, we open the web browser on any device that's connected to the Tinder router network. In the address bar, we're gonna type in the IP address for your Tinder router. This is usually 192.168.0.1 or a similar address. You can find this in your router manual if it is different. Once you press enter, you will be prompted to log in with the password. By default, the password is admin, unless you have changed them previously. Once you log in the user interface, here we can see the internet connection status, the device connected to the router, and the router connected to the internet. Attached devices and real-time statistic. Here we can see the two devices connected to the router, their download speed and upload speed. System info. Connection type dynamic IP. Connection type is dynamic IP, meaning the router gets a new IP address from the internet provider each time it connects. Connection duration. Connection duration show how long the connection has been active. Here, it's been 3 hours, 25 minutes, and 56 seconds. 1 MAC addresses. The 1 MAC address unique to this router helps the internet provider identify it on their network. The LAN IP, which is 192.168.0.1, is the internal address used by the devices within your home network to communicate with the router. Firmware version. The firmware version shows the router software version. Keeping firmware up to date helps with the security and performance. 1 IP address. 1 IP is the IP assigned by the internet provider, allowing the router to connect to the wider network. Subnet mask. The subnet mask defines the range of IP addresses in your local network. Default gateway. The default gateway is the router path to the internet. DNS servers. DNS servers translate website name to IP addresses. This setup uses Google public DNS servers, which is 8.8.8 and 8.8.4.4.
Hello, for my video is on internet settings. And here's a breakdown of the three common connection types of PPOE, dynamic IP, and static IP, and a step-by-step guide for each. First is a PPOE, or point-to-point protocol over Ethernet. PPOE is commonly used for DSL connections where the username and password are needed to connect. This type allows ISPs to authenticate users and track their internet usage. And here are the step-by-step to set up the PPOE. 1. Or first, open router settings, connect your computer to the router and go to the router's IP address in a browser. 2. Log into router, enter the username and password for your router. Third step, select PPOE, find the WAN or internet connection type section, then choose PPOE from the options. 4. Enter username and password provided by your ISP. 5. Save settings. Apply the settings and the router should connect to the internet. And number 2, the dynamic IP or DHCP or automatic IP. Dynamic IP is often used for cable and fiber connections where the ISP assigns an IP address automatically. This is a plug-and-play setup with no configuration required. And here are the steps to set up the dynamic IP. The first step, open router settings, go to your router's IP address in a web browser. The second step, log into router, enter your router credentials. In the third step, select dynamic IP or DHCP. Under WAN or internet connection type, select dynamic IP. And the fourth step, or the last step, save settings. Apply changes. The router will request an IP from the ISP and connect automatically. And the last is the static IP. Static IP is typically used for business connections or services that require a permanent IP address. The ISP provides a fixed IP address and other network details. And here are the steps. Here are the steps to set up static IP. First step, get static IP information. Obtain IP address, subnet mask, default gateway, and DNS servers from your ISP. In the second step, open router settings, go to router's IP address in a browser. In the third step, log into router, enter the router credentials. The fourth step, select static IP. Under WAN or internet connection type, select the static IP. Enter the static IP details, input the IP address, subnet mask, gateway, and DNS server addresses. And the last step, save settings. Apply the settings and your router should now connect to the internet with the static IP. Each connection type has specific uses. PPOE used for DSL requires login, dynamic IP default option, easy setup, static IP, fixed IP for stability, often used for hosting servers or services. Thank you.
Hello everyone, in this tutorial we'll explore the key components of wireless settings and provide step-by-step guidance on how to customize them to your needs. Wi-Fi name. This is the name of the Wi-Fi that your device will see when searching for wireless networks. Security mode. WPA/WPA2. It's a mixed recommended. This is the recommended security mode for most home networks. It provides a strong level of encryption to protect your network from unauthorized access. So there are also other options like WPA and WPA2, but the mix offers the best security of them all. Wi-Fi password. This is the password required to connect to your Wi-Fi network. It's essential for security to prevent unauthorized access. So for example, choose Wi-Fi name like Tenda Wi-Fi and a strong password like, for example, 821. Hide Wi-Fi. Hide Wi-Fi the next to your Wi-Fi name options allows you to hide your Wi-Fi network from public searches. This can enhance security, but also means you'll need to manually enter the Wi-Fi name and password on connecting devices. So for example, if you want to prevent unauthorized access, you can enable this option to hide your network. Multi-SSD and password. These features allows you to create multiple networks with different names and passwords. This can be useful for segmenting your network, such as creating a separate network for guests. So for example, you could create a separate network for guests with a different Wi-Fi name and password to restrict their access to your main network. Wi-Fi schedule. This allows you to schedule when your Wi-Fi network is active. You can set specific time periods when the network is on or off. This can be useful for energy saving or controlling access during certain times. For example, you could set your Wi-Fi network to turn off automatically at night to save energy. WPS. WPS stands for Wi-Fi Protective Setup. This means it is a simplified method for connecting devices to your Wi-Fi network. It involves pressing a button on both of your router and devices. However, WPS can be less secure, so it's generally recommended to use manual configuration. For example, while WPS can be convenient, it's generally recommended to disable it for enhanced security. Wireless parameters. In wireless parameters, there are three components: network option, wireless channels, and channel width. So network option. These settings allows you to select Wi-Fi standard that your computer will use. Wireless channel. This specifies the channel your router uses for communication. Choosing a less crowded channel can improve performance. Channel width. This determines the bandwidth available for your Wi-Fi networks. A wider channel can provide higher speeds, but it may interfere with other networks. So since we changed Wi-Fi name and password, we're going to save it and find it in Wi-Fi to find out if there are changes. So there is our network that we changed, then the Wi-Fi, and try to enter our password 821. And there you go, it's connected. So that's it. We have explored the essential components of your Tenda router's wireless settings and learned how to configure them effectively. By understanding the important strong security measures, unique Wi-Fi name, and optimized wireless parameters, you can create a reliable and secure Wi-Fi network for your home and office. So by following the guidelines in this tutorial, you can make the most of your Tenda router's wireless capabilities and enjoy a seamless internet experience.
Guys, so today I will be explaining about what is bandwidth control. Bandwidth control refers to the management and regulation of network bandwidth to ensure efficient and optimal use of available resources. It involves allocating, monitoring, and controlling the amount of bandwidth consumed by various device, application, or users on a network. Bandwidth control helps prevent network congestion, prioritize critical traffic, ensure quality of service, reduce network costs, enhance users' experience. Types of bandwidth control. Number 1. Rate limiting, restricting data transfer rates for a specific device or applications. Number 2. Traffic shaping, regulating traffic flow to ensure consistent bandwidth usage. Number 3. Quality of service, prioritizing critical traffic such as video or voice over non-critical traffic. Bandwidth allocation, assigning specific bandwidth amounts to devices, users, or applications. Network segmentation, dividing networks into segments with separate bandwidth controls. That's all.
So, how wireless repeating works. So, number 1, the repeater connects to the existing wireless network similar to a mobile device. Number 2, the repeater's first wireless router receives the signal from the existing networks. Number 3, the repeater's second wireless router receives the signal from the first router and rebroadcasts it to a wider area. So, wireless repeaters are often used to improve signal strength and range in homes and small offices. They are a good option when you don't want to add a wired connection to your home home or office, or when you don't need to extend your network to the point where a wired connection is required.
Parental controls are software tools and settings that allow parents or guardians to monitor, restrict, and manage their children's online and device usage. They help ensure a safer digital environment by filtering content, limiting screen time, and controlling app usage. Functions: screen time management sets limits on the amount of time a children can spend on a device or a certain apps. This can be managed per day or with specific time slots. Content filtering blocks or restrict access to websites or apps that may have inappropriate content, such as violence, adult material, or gambling.
Hi everyone, my name is Kristen. So I'm going to discuss what are the different functions of the different features located in the advanced settings. So first we have the MAC address filter. So this feature lets you control which devices can connect to your network based on their MAC addresses. So you can create a whitelist to only allow specific devices or blacklist to block certain devices from accessing your Wi-Fi. So this adds an extra layer of security by ensuring only authorized devices can connect. Then we have the second feature, which is the static IP. So assigning a static IP address means that the device, like your router or a specific computer, will always use the same IP address every time it connects to the network. So this is useful for hosting servers or services that need a constant IP address. It also avoids the potential issues of changing IP addresses that occur with dynamic IP allocation from DHCP. So next we have the third features, which is the port forwarding. So this allows you to direct traffic from the internet to a specific device on your local network. So for example, if you're running a game server or need to access a surveillance camera remotely, you can set up port forwarding to send the traffic to the correct device. It involves opening specific ports on your router and mapping them to the internal IP addresses of devices on your network. So DDNS, or the Dynamic Domain Name System, is the next feature. So DDNS helps you to map your changing IP address to a fixed domain name. This is particularly useful for remote access. So if your ISP frequently changes your IP address, DDNS ensures that you can still access your home network using a consistent domain name. So the next feature is the DMZ host, or also known as the demilitarized zone host. So by setting a device as a DMZ host, you allow it to bypass the router's firewall and be exposed to the internet. So this is useful for troubleshooting or for applications that require unrestricted access. So, however, it should be used with caution, as it makes the device more vulnerable to attacks. Then the next feature is the ping 1. So this function tests the connectivity between your router and the internet. So by sending a series of ping requests, you can check if the WAN or the wide area network connection is stable and measure the latency or the ping time to external servers. So it's a useful diagnostic tool to identify network issues. Then next is the UPnP, or known as the Universal Plug and Play. So it enables automatic configuration of devices on your network. It allows devices to discover each other and establish functional network services without manual intervention. For instance, a gaming console can automatically open the necessary ports on your router without you needing to configure port forwarding manually. Then next, we have the last feature, which is the AP isolation. So when AP isolation is enabled, each device connected to the Wi-Fi network is isolated from other devices. So this means devices cannot communicate with each other over the local network, enhancing security. It's particularly useful in public or guest network to prevent unauthorized access to other connected devices. So I think that is the features located in the advanced settings. That's all.
The Tenda administration panel includes several tools for maintenance and troubleshooting, allowing users to keep the network running smoothly and resolve issues effectively. These tools include firmware updates, Regular firmware updates improve security and performance by installing patches and introducing new features. The panel provides an option to check for and apply these updates. Device management. Users can monitor and manage devices connected to the network, including viewing their IP and MAC addresses. This function is essential for identifying unauthorized devices and for network diagnostics. The backup and reset functions ensure users can recover from misconfigurations and return to a known stable configuration if needed. These features include configuration backup or restore. Users can back up the current configuration, allowing for quick restriction if future changes disrupt the network stability. This feature is useful for maintaining continuity during troubleshooting. Factory reset. A factory reset option is available to restore the router to its original settings. This is useful in cases of persistent network issues or when passing the router to another user. The Tenda Wi-Fi Router Administration Panel offers a wide range of functions designed to facilitate effective network management, security, and maintenance. From basic network configuration to advanced security and troubleshooting, the Tenda Administration Panel enables users to optimize their Wi-Fi experience and ensure a secure, reliable, and well-managed network environment. By utilizing these functions, users can tailor their network settings to meet the specific needs of their household or business, providing greater control and peace of mind.